Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and today Apple released iOS 18.5 to the public. Now, this update, the file size of the update was about 1.18 gigabytes on my iPhone 12 in product red. Alongside this update, we also got iPadOS 18.5, which I just finished installing on my iPad Air 4th generation. We also got macOS 15.5, watchOS 11.5, tvOS 18.5, HomePodOS 18.5, and also visionOS 2.5 as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and we can talk about what's new in the update. So we go to Settings, General, About an iOS version. As you can see here, the build number is 22F76. That's the build number for iOS 18.5. Now, the first new change I want to mention, we finally have the Pride Harmony wallpaper. Now, this wallpaper has a really nice animation when you swipe up to the lock screen. Let me just clear all my notifications here so I can show you guys this really nice animation. This wallpaper has a really good animation when you scroll to the lock screen. Now, it also has sort of a nice look for phones that have an always-on display. But even if I had a device that had an always-on display, I would not be able to show you that while I'm screen recording. But you do have a really nice animation, and it looks really good on the home screen. Personally, I love the look of this wallpaper for its nice new animations. The next feature in iOS 18.5 is if we go into Mail, in betas, prior betas, you kind of had like a hint that there was something to the far right. If you scroll to the far right, you have your all mail section. So you now have like a hint to sort of see that it's there in iOS 18.5. Also, if I go into my three-dot menu, we can turn off contact posters right from the Mail app itself. Prior to this, and you guys might remember, I had a video back in December when the Mail app, this new update was new back in iOS 18.2. I had a video where I showed people how to turn off the contact posters. Well, now if you want to do that, you just go to your three-dot menu in the top red corner. You have Show Contact Photos, and you just turn it off and on from there. No longer do you have to go into Settings, Mail, and then Show Contact Posters. You can pretty much do it right from the Mail app itself. Now, another feature in iOS 18.5 is if we go into Device Coverage and Warranty, it has sort of an updated look. It doesn't look too different on this side, but if I go here to where it shows my iPhone and iPad, this looks completely different as it now has sort of the AppleCare Plus logo. It says AppleCare and Warranty, which is a nice new change in iOS 18.5. Now, if I go into accessibility and I go all the way down to touch and back tap, you now have a banner. Let me show you what that does. So if I back tap my iPhone here, you see that there is now a banner. Let me do it again in light mode so I can show it to you guys here. You can turn this off. Now when you back tap, you won't get the banner, but I'm going to keep it on. Now let me show you the back tap for the home screen so you can see it more better. That is a really nice new banner for back tap. Now let me take a screenshot here. If I go into Photos and I go to delete that screenshot, if I go to my recently deleted, in iOS 18.5, you now have Recover All and Delete All. If you select the photo, you can just only press Recover and Delete. But I will say, I was seeing this in iOS 18.4.1. So if you were on 18.4 or 18.4.1 and you also saw this, comment down below, as I was seeing this in 18.4.1. So I heard it's a new feature in iOS 18.5, but I was seeing it in 18.4.1. As far as other features in iOS 18.5, well, there is one feature I actually forgot just now as I was thinking about it. If we go into settings and somewhere under here is screen time, if you have a screen time password enabled and someone in your family, maybe your child or a younger sibling, is trying to enter that passcode, it will now notify you in this update. That is a new change in iOS 18.5. As far as anything else with this update, well, this is really a minor update, but as far as how it performs, I've only been using it for a couple of hours, but it performs pretty good. I'm not going to run any Geekbench scores. That I will do probably on Saturday. But as far as any other features, it probably will fix some bugs, but I also don't know what bugs they fixed. That I have to do more research on. But the update performs pretty good. Opening apps such as podcasts, no new splash screens in Apple Music. We don't have any splash screens. If I go into the App Store here, no new splash screens here either. But what about the Apple Vision Pro app? There isn't any here either as well. So overall, iOS 18.5 is a really great update. But me personally, I love the new wallpaper that we have. And I think it has a really nice animation. The one that was added in 18.3, which was the Unity wallpaper. When you set that wallpaper, it kind of went darker on the lock screen. Let me switch to another color. And I didn't really like that as much, that it went a little bit darker. It kind of like dimmed. But this wallpaper doesn't do that. But all the wallpapers, including those Unity ones, they are really nice. Even when they get dimmer on the home screen, which I prefer to stay light on the home screen and not get dim. But it's still overall a nice wallpaper. As far as anything else, well, that's it for iOS 18.5. It's not that big of an update, but at least we have new Unity wallpapers. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I will see you guys in the next video.